Hi and welcome back again. In this video we're going to be looking at some more Greek vocabulary having to do with athletes and competition. Athletic competitors were involved in something that was a very serious struggle. Athletic competitions originated in military training, and competition was almost like a form of battle. Agon is struggle or competition or a race. It can also mean an assembly or gathering, and that may actually be the original sense of the word. The word is third declension and is one of the, again, the third declension nouns where the nominative singular form is the real stem. So for the genitive, all we do is add os onto the end of agon, and we have to agonos. The verb that's related to agon is agonizomai. I compete, I struggle, I fight. And just watch the future form of agonizomai, because there the zeta drops out and we get agoniumai. And remember that the zeta, when it's combined with the following sigma for the future or aorist, will just be absorbed into the sigma. So the first aorist will be agonisamein. One of the things you need if you're training for athletic events is he paraklesis. This is encouragement. And it can also be used in the sense of an appeal or request, or in the sense of a summons. And you can see kaleo in the klesis part of that. The real stem of this is paraklese, and this is another third declension noun of the polis type. So the genitive is parakleseos, and the dative singular paraklese. The nominative plural has that characteristic ace ending of the polis type, and the accusative singular ends in the in ending that we see with polis as well, paraklesin. The related verb parakaleo means I encourage or I summon. The contract vowel here doesn't lengthen, interestingly enough. So in the aorist, unusually, you'll have parakalesa instead of parakalesa. The second aorist passive of parakaleo is paraklethein, and the aorist passive stem is parakle. And notice that that second aorist passive stem is a different stem than what we see in the aorist active, which is actually a first aorist active. Parakletos is an advocate or a legal assistant. And this is the term that's used by Jesus in John's Gospel to describe the Holy Spirit. Somebody who is an advocate, who can come alongside us and advocate for us in court. In the events of an athletic competition, we might use the verb krateo, which means I hold or take hold or seize. It can also refer to holding something up or holding something back. The contract vowel here lengthens normally, and so the future, for example, is krateso. Trecho means I run. The future and aorist are based on a very different stem, dram, and so the second aorist is edramon. The future is also deponent and liquid, so we have dramumai, which is dram plus the liquid form of the future tense marker, s, plus omai. And that whole combination involves the disappearing then of the sigma from the s tense marker and the contraction together of the epsilon from the tense marker with the omicron from omai. And when epsilon and omicron combine, they become u. Hence we get dramumai. Finally, balo means to throw. The stem here ends in a double consonant, and it's fairly common for double consonant ending stems to lose one of the consonants outside the present tense. So it's not surprising that we have the second aorist ebalon from the stem bal with one lambda. The second aorist passive again uses a different stem, ble, and so we have the form eblathane. We saw this adverb earlier in the video on adverbs. Kakos means poorly, badly, in a bad way. And kalos means something is done well, in a good way. Another useful adverb when we're talking about judging an athletic event is tacheos, quickly or speedily. And this is derived from the adjective tachus, tacheia tachu. This is a somewhat irregular adjective, which takes third declension endings consistently in the plural, but in the singular forms, we get third declension endings in the masculine and neuter, and first declension alpha-based endings in the feminine. You'll also notice that the third declension masculine and neuter endings are somewhat irregular, and that we have a upsilon that seems to be used as the connecting vowel in most of those places. So we have tachus in the nominative masculine, then tachus with an omicron upsilon diphthong, then the regular dative tachei, but then tachun for the accusative and tachu for the vocative. The neuter singular forms are quite similar, except that the nominative neuter singular is just tachu, and because it's neuter, remember that nominative and accusative forms are the same with neuter nouns, and so the accusative neuter singular is also tachu. In the feminine, in the singular, we have this epsilon iota diphthong that's added onto the stem, so we have tacheia, but the endings are regular first declension alpha-based endings. Tacheia, tacheas, tacheia, tacheion, and tacheia in the vocative. As I said before, the plurals of tachus are all regular third declension plurals, except for the feminine nominative plural, which is tachei. That's the first declension nominative plural ending, and you also have that epsilon iota intruding after the end of the stem. If somebody is a victor, you might say that their agon was worthy or fitting of the prize, and the adjective meaning worthy or fitting or suitable is axios, axie, axion. Victory itself is henike, and Nike was worshipped as a goddess quite widely, both by the Greeks and by the Romans. Nikao is the related verb, and this again is an alpha contract verb, and the alpha will lengthen normally. So in the aorist tense, we have a first aorist, enikesa. One of the greatest rewards for athletic accomplishment was not money, but glory, heidoxa. This means not just glory, but honor or reputation, and generally people's opinion. Doxadzo is the related verb that means I glorify or I honor. And remember here again that zeta followed by a sigma tense marker will just disappear, and so we end up just with the sigma. And so the aorist, first aorist, is edoxasa instead of trying to say edoxadsa. And I think when you try and say it that way, you can see why the Greeks dropped out the zeta before the sigma. Honor and glory could be viewed as eternal, aionios, ionie, ionion. And if somebody won an event and gained doxa, they might be tempted to boast or brag. And this is the verb kauchaamai. I boast or brag. And this again is a contract deponent verb, and so we'll have the regular lengthening of the contract vowel, as in the first aorist, ekauche sameng.